Welcome back, everybody. There may or may not be a technical difficulty right now. I do not know what that is. Okay. But before we get into that, we're going to get into our first adventure, which I've entitled The Dogs Playing Poker. I would like to give context on that title at the end of the adventure, but not before it. So remind me, players, if I haven't done that, to do that. But before we do that, as always, we're going to introduce our adventurers today. So without further ado, the first of them that we have here, as we're moving down the line, we have returning the Bunnyfolk Bard, Lil Boober.
Hi,
Welcome back,
Pete.
Lil Boober. How are you today, Lil Boober? You're always so cheerful.
I'm doing great, Pete. I've been really busy with new business, kind of.
New business? What have you been getting into?
So there was the whole alpacking and the problem with Rapunzel, and so we actually had a nice mediation session. He's allowed to keep his castle as long as Rapunzel is the only one allowed in it.
Okay.
Because we figured that as long as Rapunzel is the only one in the castle, she still has a monopoly on the business. As long as it's, it doesn't matter which castle. So we're building a whole bunch of castles around DnDTime land so Rapunzel can travel the world.
That's excellent. That's going to be so great for Rapunzel, and also it's going to. I imagine it'll stimulate the economy of the land of DnDTime a bit. All the work on building these castles.
I don't know about that, but she lets me touch her hair. So
I imagine it's very. What's softer, her hair or your fur?
Oh, her hair. She won't tell me the conditioner, though. Apparently, it's scary.
Well, I mean, there's some things that cannot be known. I think if anyone knew how to get hair like Rapunzel, if there were more than one, it might break down the world. So, Lil Booper, it's good to have you back, and I'm glad to hear you're doing well.
Wait, before you move on, you know what needs to happen.
Yep, I did know. Hold on a second. Let me just duck down. I've been booped on the nose, as always, by Lil Booper. I do not. All right, cool. In that case, let us move on next to, and this is quite a name. I don't believe it all fits upon the screen, and that name is Foxglove Catmint Rhododendron. Welcome.
Hello.
So, Foxglove Catmint Rhododendron. For starters, how do you prefer to be referred to? Do you always say the whole name?
No, I just call myself Foxglove.
Okay, Foxglove. Tell me a little bit about yourself. You are, of course, a new adventurer here in the land of DnDTime.
I am a worshipper of the Mother of the Grave Flowers.
The Mother of the Grave Flowers. Could you tell me a bit? This is a god that I'm not in particularly familiar with.
She is a god of ceremonies. When you die and you put a little gravestone, and then people come and they put flowers on your grave. Yeah.
Yes.
That's what she's the god of.
Now, that is a very specific god. Does this god perchance spend a lot of time in the Sacred Vale?
Quite often.
I was going to say, I know a lot of those. I know a lot of those lesser-known gods that have very kind of niche domains of worship. Spend a lot of time there. And how did you come to find yourself worshiping this particular god?
I died, of course.
Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I didn't quite get a burial. So she basically revivified me. Then she took me on as one of her followers.
Well, I'm glad that has brought you here to us now. Welcome to Bartholomew's Adventuring Troupe.
Thanks.
And next up, we have a returning hero. We have Grilliam Inferno, the Fire Genasi Cleric, another of the devout. Grilliam, how are you?
I am perfectly fine today, despite the fact that my flames are a little brighter today. I am perfectly fine. No need to worry about me.
perfectly fine, that kind of statement really kind of brings suspicion, Grilliam. For one thing, your flames are burning brighter. Why is that?
Let's just say I'm in a really good mood today.
A really good mood.
I'm in a really good mood for some adventuring.
So you're in the kind of mood that really suits the sort of things that one would do on an adventure.
Before.
As in burn things.
Yeah, yes, burn things. But don't get me wrong, I love to get more creative than just simply setting them on fire.
In what ways? Could you elaborate on that a bit?
Let's see, maybe I only burn their hand. Maybe I only burn their legs. Maybe I just burn their face.
I guess it is still setting on fire, but it's a very targeted, making a lot of choices about where to flame.
It's perfect for making, it's really good for making them talk, especially when it scars their whole body for life.
I mean, that's really, you're sounding very intimidating today.
I'm sorry that sounded very terribly evil, but it's part of my job.
And everyone has a job to do in this life, so we cannot blame you for doing yours, Grilliam. Either way, welcome back. And last but not least, as we move now to the our fourth and final adventurer, we have another brand new character, although not a veteran player here. We have Prince Edinon, the High Elf fighter. Did I say Prince Edinon correct?
Yes.
So Prince or Edinon, which would you prefer? How should I refer to you? I don't mean to. You're of course.
You shall call me Prince Edinon, peasant.
Very well, Prince Edinon, and I mean peasant. That seems a little bit harsh. I'm at least Pete, but aside from that, Prince Edinon, would you care to tell us a little bit about yourself? How you've gotten involved in this adventuring troupe, and what brings you here?
Well, I come from the kingdom of Edinon, which is in the southeast of the land of DnDTime, and recently there's been some troubles in my kingdom, and we've been invaded by math goblins, and they've stolen the most prized possession, the sword of Edinon, and so I'm here to try to find it for my king, my father.
Indeed, the math goblins are a plague upon this world, no doubt. I'm sorry that they have moved even now outside of the land of Sokoto and have now invaded your kingdom as well.
Yes.
Have you? I will say this. There is no better place than among Bartholomew's adventuring troupe to come in contact with the math goblins, as there are regular commissions that put our adventurers directly in conflict with them. So I imagine that before long, you will find some leads on that end.
Yes, I'm sure I'll enjoy killing them piece by piece.
Oh dear, we have another little bit of a between you and Grilliam. I'm starting to get a little bit spooked up here. But Prince Edinon, are you you are of course the heir to your kingdom, or are you the heir? Are there other princes, or will you someday inherit the kingdom?
I am the only son, and I will inherit the kingdom. Mm-hmm. However, I need to find the sword before I can do that, as of my father's request.
That is sort of his trial for you to someday claim what is your birthright.
Yes, it is my last trial.
Very well. And I wish you the best of success tonight, Prince Edinon, as we dive into our first adventure, which unfortunately, Prince, does not put you in conflict with the math goblins. However, in order to gain ranks in Bartholomew's shop, sometimes you do have to do jobs that aren't necessarily in your wheelhouse personally. And where we begin, you find yourselves in Bartholomew's shop. Bartholomew himself has pulled you into a small kind of side room where you can see there are 4 beds that have been made, sheets kind of pressed, and he speaks up to you. Adventurers, I'm aware that some of you are new, although we do have a couple of veterans here, as he nods to you, little Boober and Grilliam. So it is my wish to tell you about your adventure that I need you to go upon today. Your request has come from Woof.
Is this where we're going to stay for it? Can I pick my bed?
Wait, Wait. Why are you taking us to a bedroom if we're going to a village?
Because we get our own beds. Yay!
Yes, that is very good, little Boober. You do get your own beds. But Prince, I'm sorry, that was Grilliam who spoke. Grilliam, you are astute in your observations. Yes, you are here in order to go to a village, because this village does lie within the plane of dreams, a realm that can only be accessed by sleeping in an area that has been attuned to its energies.
I can already assume that this quest has been given to you in your dreams.
A wizard never tells.
I want to pick the softest bed. And little Boober goes and starts jumping on the bed to find out which one's softest.
I'll make an investigation check.
Oh.
You kind of go through all the beds, you're jumping on them. You have a much better kind of sense of how to jump on your particular beds. But just because of, your Bunnyfolk ancestry, you get the perfect jump heights. And the one all the way on the right is just a little bit spongier than the other ones.
I picked this bed.
All right. So, Prince Edinon, Bartholomew speaks. Yes, I'm aware that you are of the Elvish ancestry.
Yes,
Prince
I'm
Edinon.
not sleeping on one of these filthy, disgusting beds.
If you were to simply meditate upon it, you would find yourself transported there as well. It will require a bit of magic. Or if you do not wish to use the bed, simply sleeping anywhere in this room would be adequate. Although it would have to be somewhere in this space. The beds are just there for your comfort, all of you.
Okay, Edinon just sits down on the floor because.
Okay, yeah.
Let's have pillow fights
they're a
and
little bit dingy.
bedtime stories. It's gonna be great.
Bartholomew says, well, I will, if that is your wish, will leave you to it. Although I do suggest you get there soon. Your clients, I imagine, are not going to be overly patient, just waiting around for you to arrive all day. And he kind of closes the door behind him, leaving you in this room with the beds, and kind of shuts off the light. And he kind of pokes his head back in. Do any of you need a glass of water or warm milk or anything like that?
Can I have a bedtime story?
I'll take a glass of wine.
Wine
I think I'll be fine. And then as soon as I say that, I get right into a bed and just immediately try to fall asleep.
Yeah. Grilliam just conks out instantly. The beds are extremely comfortable, and as you kind of lay down within it, Grilliam, even more than you expected, you find it almost lulls you into sleep naturally, just being in this space.
Foxglove is trying to figure out how beds work, and he just lays across it diagonal and just looks uncomfortable. But eventually, yeah, he falls asleep.
Yeah, and also you find yourself just the second you kind of lay yourself diagonal, it's just instantly you're just out like a light. And
can I have something big in here with me? I'm used to sleeping with 8 other people.
Bartholomew kind of snaps his fingers, and a gigantic teddy rabbit appears on the bed next to you.
Oh, yes, time to sleep.
And you also instantly find yourself lulled as well. Prince Edinon, eventually, as you're kind of meditating in this space, you kind of close your eyes, and then suddenly you all open your eyes and find yourselves completely transported elsewhere. You stand in the midst of a clearing within a forest, and kind of amidst that clearing, there are several kind of smallish houses that are arranged in kind of a fairly circular pattern. This doesn't appear to be a very large village. The trees around the outskirts of the village and just the kind of horizons in the distance, you can see a volcano rising out of just the landscape that puffs kind of blue plumes of smoke. The trees themselves are all wondrous in shape. The leaves, colors of purples and oranges and yellows and greens and blues, as you now stand within the plane of dreams. Those are the first things that catch your attention. But the next thing that catches your attention are the citizens of this town that are walking around. As kind of walking past you on a small kind of cobblestone street, you see trotting along it what appears to be a dachshund wearing like a hat and something akin to trousers for a dog. As they walk past you, they just kind of nod, and you see them.
Is he walking on 2 legs or 4 legs? Is the question.
He's walking on 4 legs, but the dog still kind of looks to you and says, "Good day."
Boober hides behind Edinon.
Kind of walks past.
I push little Boober away.
Upon seeing little Boober cower at the sight of a dog, I facepalm.
Dogs eat bunnies.
The dog didn't seem overly interested in eating you. It seemed friendly, if anything. And you see more dogs kind of walking around this small, what appears to be a village just comprised of dogs. Most of them are wearing clothes.
Little Boober tries to find a leg to attach himself to.
I will shove, if you dare try to, I will try to shove you off my leg if you dare try to grab onto me.
Foxglove gives his leg.
Finally, safe place. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you grab onto Foxglove's leg. Next time you see a much larger dog, kind of a Great Dane, goes past, nods. Good afternoon. Welcome to Woof.
Great. This is a first time for me. Don't mind the bunny. He's a little shy towards dogs.
That's fine. I'm sure they'll get used to us eventually. Just kind of starts walking away.
Prince Edinon runs up to her and asks the Great Dane where we are.
Oh, you're in Woof.
What's that?
That's the name of our town. Well, I suppose on the grander scale, you're in the Plane of Dreams, but this is Woof. This is our town.
Well, it was easy to get here, at least.
And she kind of looks at the 4 of you. Are you the adventuring kind of people? Those sort of heroes?
The Bartholomew's adventurers, if you want me to be more specific.
Yeah, it sounds like it's probably right. Yeah, I don't know Bartholomew, but yeah, maybe. Some of the boys over yonder were having a bit of a hard time. Told me they mentioned that they called in some pros.
Well, we're bravest serious. Just, don't hurt me.
Wait, where are these boys over yonder?
And at this point, you see she kind of leans back on 2 legs, so she's standing roughly upright, and kind of points with one paw and angles it over in the direction. Over yonder, just that way, and points. And what she appears to be pointing out is not too far off. There's a little bit of a path that leads kind of up a hill, and on top of it, there's a house, but at the bottom of the hill, there's a table, and that seems to be what she's pointing at. And there are just a bunch of dogs sitting around this table.
Well, I guess we got nothing better to do, guys. And Edinon starts walking over there.
All right. You begin to approach, and as you get closer, more of these dogs are. Everyone here seems pretty friendly. They're just going about their business. You see what looks to be a German Shepherd, although the breed would probably be called something different here because Germany doesn't exist. Kind of slamming on an anvil in a blacksmith shop, wearing kind of an apron. You see these dogs just kind of going about their daily business. And over in the distance, as you eventually kind of approach this table, you can see 5 dogs sitting around a table playing cards.
Cards. Interesting.
Foxglove sits down because he wants to play.
And all right, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, Edinon's kind of disgusted because he would never lower himself so much to play this peasant kind of game.
Yes. And you can see they're smoking these like peasant cigars, this tobacco.
Yeah, Edinon starts to throw up.
Oh jeez, that's that distasteful. Yeah, you watch as Ednon just kind of like heaving over on the side. As you sit down at the table, Foxglove, one of them, a bulldog, kind of pulls the cigar out of his mouth and just goes, "Hey, what's going on? You trying to get in on the game?"
Of course, let's play.
No, apparently someone has a huge distaste for card games. Someone hasn't met the Prince of Order of me lately. He cares about everything.
A Saint Bernard that's kind of sitting next to him just goes, "Hey, some people got no taste, you know."
Foxglove wants a cigar too.
Hey, no problem. The bulldog kind of reaches down, pulls one out of a case and hands it over to you. Hey, Clyde, light that thing, will ya?
No. Can I interrupt and be like, no, it's fine. I use my produce flame cantrip to do it for them.
And with perfect precision, Grilliam you just watch as a small light just kind of appears on the end of your fresh cigar, Foxglove.
Foxglove puts it in his mouth and like puffs it, but he hasn't quite ever had one before, so he coughs.
Yeah, it's very strong. It's very strong.
Yeah, Edinon's just holding his nose.
Little Boober's gonna look for a nice roof to jump onto.
Yeah, little Boober, there's one very kind of nearby. You hop up on top of it and are just kind of looking down at these dogs that are playing poker there. They don't seem aggressive.
Not safer here.
Yeah, but it's definitely more comfortable. The big kind of Saint Bernard that was speaking before looks over to you, Foxglove, as you kind of start to play. Also, just roll me a d20, straight up, Foxglove. 18, nice. Oh man, you actually win the hand. As you're playing around, you're kind of, you just get dealt a full house straight up, and you take no cards, and you watch as one of them, the Chihuahua, kind of looks at you and goes, "No cards, huh? That's a pretty bold move. I think he's bluffing." And you end up winning about 10 dog treats, it looks like, at the end of the hand as you take it in, as he goes big on your full house. But then this big kind of... Oh, go ahead, Foxglove. What are you going to say?
I eat one.
It's all right. A little bit crunchy, not a lot of flavor.
Foxglove loves it.
Okay. And now the Saint Bernard kind of speaks up. "Hey, you haven't seen some kind of like adventuring guys around, have you? I was told they were gonna look kind of like big walking around people." Not
Yes!
What do we look like?
I think what you're talking about is us.
And he goes, "Oh, wait a minute. You're totally right now that you mention it." Oh, that's crazy. Hey, Rocco, what do you think of these guys? And the bulldog kind of takes the cigar. Now that you mention it, yeah, they do kind of look like that, don't they? You guys want to do the thing that we paid you to do?
Sure, I'll provide Overwatch from here.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be that much help providing Overwatch from there, but you see, the problem was, it's a really complicated problem. You see, we got a whole new deck of cards, and we were playing up in our clubhouse over there, and he kind of points up to the clubhouse, and that you kind of saw at the top of the hill before. We got a whole new deck of cards, because our old one, well, that's a whole story with a bone and an argument, and they kind of got ripped up, but don't worry about that. The new deck of cards, well, we start dealing. I don't know where Barnabas got it from. He said he got it in some magic place or whatever. I didn't care about it. But when we said the Jokers were wild, the Jokers came to life. They jumped out of the cards. They start jumping around. They do all kinds of stuff. We run scared straight out of the place.
Did you try making friends with them?
How big are these cards?
Is there anyone else still in there?
No, there ain't nobody else in there. We want to go back in there so we don't have to play cards outside like a bunch of humans, you know?
Foxglove is like very
that's an insult to my prince. Thank you.
don't know your prince, but he shouldn't play cards outside.
Fair enough.
And the big one whose name
And how big are these cards? And how many of them are there? I'll make this really easy.
Well, I don't know. The Saint Bernard kind of speaks now. Maybe kind of big. They were probably like 52 of them, and 2 jokers, so 52 plus an extra 2. So you can do that math.
Oh dear. Well, I hope
Edinon is like visibly annoyed and starts running towards the clubhouse.
Okay.
Hey, wait for all of us! And then I run after.
And he goes, but really the big problem was the 2 jokers, and you start running up, and one of them, as you're going away, the Chihuahua just calls out, "We just need you to clear it out," and you guys start moving up the hill.
Sorry, maybe we could be friends when you're less scary.
Just as you run away.
We're not making friends with a bunch of crazy cards, Bunny.
I meant the dogs.
I do hope you could make friends with the dogs, because you really need to get over that fear.
We can make friends with jokers. They're a lot of fun. I think they'll like my juggling.
I don't think they're the kind of jokers they're talking about.
So you crest the top of the hill, and you can now see it's like a fairly simple-looking clubhouse. But there are some very strange, what looks like it doesn't really seem to fit in with the rest of the architecture of the building. You can see it looks like there are like kind of towers on the 4 corners, almost like a castle's spires, and then like kind of ramparts with like arrow kind of slots and turrets in between them, making sort of a stone palisade around the outside of this otherwise very mundane house as you approach. And it looks like the front door has like an elaborate kind of gate in front of it.
How high are these walls?
Elaborate gate made of what?
This reminds me of home.
It seems to be made of a kind of a mixture of wood and stone in places. It's mostly wood, but it's reinforced with metal.
How high is the walls?
The walls are not very high. They're only about 20 feet because the house is just like a regular sized house.
Foxglove has finished his not his cat treats, but his dog treats.
Yep.
I'm going to.
They were all very good.
Some clubhouse in a dream world I'm in.
Well, let me see what's up there. Foxglove, how tall are you?
I am 7 feet tall. I mean 8. Sorry, 8.
Okay, let me get on your head real quick.
I'm gonna lift up little Boober.
Little Boober jumps onto the top.
All right. As you jump up, you see, as you're kind of getting closer, you see emerging from the top, kind of, they just stand back. They just stand up from backwards, almost lifting up supernaturally, like you would expect a zombie to rise out of a grave. You just see 5 people kind of pop up on this wall as you get close, and they kind of go to stop you from hopping onto the wall. And kind of like push you back, essentially making the wall higher with their bodies at the last moment.
Oh, well, so much for that. I thought it would be easy.
I make sure to catch little Boober.
Don't worry.
Yeah, and you very easily, or I was going to say you catch little Boober, but little Boober's also very agile, can definitely handle kind of hopping up into it. And you now see these four figures, and they are dressed in the manner of royalty, save one who just has kind of has the number 10 kind of plastered on his body, and they're all wearing very kind of heart-centric clothing as they sort of look at you. And the one with the 10 kind of speaks out, "You are in the presence of the prince." And you see a person kind of nods. The queen! The queen kind of nods. The king! The king kind of tips the crown. And the ace! and the ace just kind of does kind of a curtsy in her dress. Of hearts, you may bow at your will.
Oh, we're bows.
Wait. Did they open the gate and we can see them now, or?
No, they're standing on top of the little wall. The gate is closed, and the gate is blocking like the regular-looking front door to the house.
I do not bow. I stand there looking very disinterested.
Edinon bows and asks them if they've heard of his kingdom.
I doubt they have, but okay.
You speak up to them and ask about your kingdom, and they for a brief moment they all kind of like seem to like huddle and lean into, and you can hear them like whispering amongst each other, and then they nod to the 10, and he speaks up. We have not heard of your kingdom. That is not meant as an offense. We came into an existence, but about 3 hours prior.
Excuse me. Hi, your new Joker is here. But you need to open the gate for me to get in.
But little Boober, these are not the right kind of jokers.
Look,
but
I can even juggle.
They all kind of like converse again on top of this little wall. Go ahead and make me a persuasion check. Or this is actually probably deception, but I'll let you keep your roll, but add your deception score.
Foxglove wants to help by like doing like presenter hands.
Okay, yeah, you're doing presenter hands. We'll say that was what the advantage was for the second deception roll. So 22, and they all kind of like lean in and go. We were not informed of an additional Joker. We were told by our acting Joker to stay out here and guard the wall.
But don't you think it's so weird that there's 4 of every other type, but only 2 Jokers? It's because the other 2 got left outside.
The king at this point speaks up. That did always strike me as extremely strange, don't you think, dear? And the queen goes, Indeed, it did. You see, there are 4 of us, and then you see the other 4 walls on the outside of the buildings. 4 more sets, or 3 more sets of the same cards kind of all pop up, and they all just kind of speak in unison. Why is there 4 of everything else?
Oh, the amount of cards doesn't matter. We're here on a different reason.
No, it's because there are 4 Jokers and 2 got left out. I'm one of them, and these are my guards, so you need to open the gate so we can get in.
I, at this point, just put a mouth on little Boober to shush him.
Well, as you're saying that, they actually seem to like this line of logic is making a lot of sense to them, and you see the King of Hearts kind of looks at you and just goes, very well, 10. And the 10 kind of goes, yes, sir. 10, open the gate. And the 10 just kind of starts, and you see the other 3 10s also turning cranks on the outsides of the little kind of towers that they're standing next to. And the gate kind of slowly starts to lift, leading to the front door, allowing you entrance in.
See, it's that easy, guys. Come on.
Foxglove goes in. That's just how it works.
And yeah, you open the door, kind of creaks open, and inside it's just a single room. It's fairly modest. You can see a much nicer table at the center of it that has all manner of like poker chips. You can see on the side wall there's art on the walls. There's various kind of portraits of it. Looks like the dogs outside. Just at different kind of events that they've done, you know, sort of them playing baseball, them playing, you know, football, them playing cards, and a lot of them.
Are there any dog trees laying around?
There's like a whole glass jar that is full of them over on the side. It is locked, but you can see there's a whole bunch of them. There's also cigars.
But they're all mine now.
They're locked, though. Good luck getting them.
Well, before you walk across the room and grab the dog treats, the other thing you notice are what look like two very obviously kind of long, silly hats that kind of go out into different baubles with bells. Two jokers that are sitting down across from each other at the table, now also kind of playing cards, and their heads both turn to look at the
playing cards, cardception.
Little Boober minor illusions that have on himself to match theirs.
One of them kind of looks at you and he goes, "That's a fun." And then the third one goes, "Trick." Or I'm sorry, the second one goes, "You've confused me with your illusion," but not them. And they kind of speak, just kind of like alternating back in every other word, as they're kind of like now standing up and looking at you. "What are the four of you doing in here?"
Nothing. Just a simple cleanup. He says with a little grin on his face.
"No cleanup required," the two of them kind of say, and they're now kind of like standing up. "The guards outside should have made sure that you couldn't come in."
Edinon asks them if they're looking for a challenge. And he sits down with them.
And they both kind of look at each other for a second. They look back at you in unison, and they say, "A challenge is one thing, but what have you to wager?"
No, I look at Edinon and ask him. I'm gonna ask him a quick question. Like, do we really need to challenge them? I can easily just force.
He has
them
a
back
whole
into the
kingdom
box.
to wager.
I put my crossbow on the table. I'm not wagering my kingdom.
No. Can I
kingdom? That sounds a good wager.
No, I refuse.
No, Edinon starts crying.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. No, I'm gonna step in front of Edinon and just look at the jokers and be like, "Okay, when I said cleanup, I meant this is an eviction notice. Yeah, you have two options. You either are going back into you and your cards are going to go back in the box you came from. You're going to be nothing but ash."
They kind of look at you and they go, "Oh dear." And one of them looks at the other. "Don't you think this house is getting a little full?" And the other one looks back. "I agree. It's time to flush them all out." And the two just kind of look at each other and just start uproariously laughing. And you see the two of them each split into kind of two more. So now there's four of them that kind of seem to be standing now in the space. I would like you to roll for initiative.
Well, I wish maybe I should have tried to make it intimidation, but that would have been too easy.
Oh, where's my guy? Gotta roll it. Oh, public roll. Ooh, not bad. Oh, you guys are pretty good too. All right, in that case, Prince Edinon, you're kind of sitting across from him at the table. You watch them kind of phase out like this into multiple forms as they're now kind of staring at you. You have your crossbow was kind of in your hands because you just put it upon the table. What do you want to do?
Heathen! And he stands up and shoots a crossbow bolt at shoot. The one on the right, I guess. One of them on the right.
All right, go ahead and make me an attack roll. A 14 is actually going to hit for 6 points of piercing damage. You're not sure which one you want to aim at, because there's just like so many that you now see as you fire your crossbow bolt. It kind of thunks into one of the jokers, goes, and as it hits him, you see one of the illusory ones that you now realize is an illusion kind of dissipates as he takes that damage. Very good. Anything else on your turn?
No, that's it. I'm just ready for. I pull out my my sword.
All right, cool. You brandish your sword. In that case, that's going to bring us to Little Boober, what do you want to do?
Grilliam, where are you? Are you like right in front of him?
I'm right. I was in front of Edinon. So what are you gonna do? What do you need me for?
Okay, everybody, let's just calm the heck down.
Edinon stops crying.
Including us?
Yes, including you.
Lovely.
All right, so the
You're
two
not-
jokers are going to make charisma saves. Interesting. They both roll really well. I only have +1 to that. I assume that's enough to succeed?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The two jokers just... Why would you calm things down? Things are just getting fun!
I don't think that. I don't think you can. I don't think the peaceful option is best right now.
And the two of them look to you. Actually, they're going to look at the two who made attacks. The one who...
Oops.
That's going to be actually, I think, against Edinon. I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Wait, I still need to finish my turn.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot that. We'll still count that wisdom save. That's still the same thing. That's my bad. What else did you have on your turn, Little Boober?
Little Boober's like, fine. And he takes out his triangle and he's like, ding!
Who are you inspiring?
And he says, go get him, Grammy. Just don't hurt the other cards.
Talking to me.
Yes, go get him. Just don't hurt the other cards.
Grilly, I just chuckle at the nickname. I love Grilly.
All right, cool. So you have been inspired, Grilliam, and now on their turn, they're going to look to you, Edinon. One of them says, "I've seen through to you," and you see like a heart sign appear on his hand, and you feel something kind of wash over you for a second, and there's just this moment of fear, which soon passes as you succeed on your save against whatever this effect was. The other one is going to look at you, Lil Boober, and just go, "Prepare to get clubbed!" And he's going to cast clubs at you, and you watch as the kind of the club branches off into pieces as this magic missile flies at you. I'm sorry, it should not have been the higher level cast. It should have only been the original one. So the 13 points of force damage. So you're only supposed to do that at level 1.
Ow.
That's a good magic missile right there, though. As the 3 pieces of club seem to fly off and strike into you. And the one whose illusion kind of dissipated, you see him kind of calls out, "Let's become 4 of a kind again!" And on the illusion kind of reappears to his right as it passes now to... was Foxglove. What do you wish to do?
Alright, do these happen to be constructs?
You don't know.
Can I try to figure that out?
What's the... may I ask... just ask me why, and I might just tell you.
I want to use my golem bait.
Yeah, so for the purposes of that, would they be constructs? I'm trying to think. No, they wouldn't be. They wouldn't.
I think they would be considered magical humanoids.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna cast Sacred Flame.
Yeah. Dexterity saving throw. Man,
Oh god, those are good at those.
Yeah, they succeed with the 19, natural 19. That is in that case going to bring us to, or do you have anything else on your turn? Do you have a bonus action?
Yeah, I'm gonna cast, I think I can cast Sanctuary on Little Booper.
Yeah, that you can absolutely do.
Alright, you're sanctioned, I guess.
Yeah, you feel as this kind of magical protection washes over you, little Boober. As it passes now to Grilliam's turn.
Oh, how nice. Thank you.
Okay, so, well, I'm gonna look at the jokers. Well, 'tis a shame. Now you must become ash, and then I cast Searing Smite on myself as a bonus action, and I walk up to
right now they both have these illusionary duplicates right now.
Is there a check I can make to deceive that, to check, or no?
It's just going to be you're attacking with disadvantage. Is just how that effect works. Unless you have some other ability that
I cast Searing. Well, I cast Searing Smite on myself as a bonus action, and I'm going to bash them in the face. Bash one of them in the face with my mace at disadvantage.
Go for it. Even through your disadvantage, you still hit. Go ahead and roll damage on that.
And I also deal an additional 1d6 damage. So, and the target is on fire, and must make a DC 12 Constitution or take additional fire damage.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll that damage for me. 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
7 points of bludgeoning damage. Four.
All right, so yeah, you strike him with the mace, which is burning, and you watch as kind of the clothing and the hat start to kind of flame up and burn as he's just kind of jumping around, just hot, 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 and you see also the illusion once again disappear. And anything else on your turn? Oh, I guess that's move, bonus, and action, so that's probably it for you, Grilliam, but you land us a pretty strong blow.
That is my turn.
As it moves back to Edinon.
Okay. Edinon jumps up onto the table and slashes his sword down onto the same Joker he was attacking.
All right. That one has the illusion back up, so it still will be with disadvantage. But you jump up onto the table, poker chips fly across the room. Go ahead and make me an attack roll. Unfortunately, that does miss. As you swing your greatsword through, it kind of passes through the illusory one.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. In that case, it's going to be Lil Boober.
Okay, so would I be able to get an angle to hit the 3 without hitting the 2 allies?
There's only 2 jokers. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, there's the illusory.
That wouldn't. You wouldn't be able to avoid because there's 2 people in melee with them on either. There's a person in melee with either one. So and it's like a very small space.
Okay, then I'm going to get the one without the illusory, the one that was hit earlier. I'm going. God.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to whisper to him.
Oh man! All right. It's going to make a Wisdom saving throw. Oh, just barely succeeds. Bad luck. He still takes half damage from that.
Yeah.
Okay. The Joker, and this is the one that is illusioned, or the one that isn't illusioned?
The one that isn't illusioned.
The one that isn't illusioned and is on fire.
Yes. All right. So that one takes another 5 points of psychic damage. And he starts screaming, "Get out of my head!"
He just hears, "Bet you think you're funny, huh? But you're not."
And he does not think he's funny. Is there anything else on your turn?
Well, since I'm 1 second, let me see. Okay, I'm just gonna go, okay, Edon, next time you better not miss. And he's gonna start hitting his tambourine.
You have been inspired by the beautiful tambourine playing, and you now have a D6 if you choose to use it on your next roll.
Okay.
And I think that's going to bring us to the foe turn.
And before you do that, DC 12 for the fire damage.
Yes, I do know that. Constitution saving throw, right?
DC 12 con save, and yep, he takes 2 fire damage.
All right, takes another 2. This one's looking pretty beat up at this point. And this Joker kind of looks. The Joker that isn't on fire looks at the other one, and he just goes, "You know, Joker, you're on fire!" And he's going to also just look at you, Grilliam, and he's going to ask you to. Actually, you know what? He's going to use diamonds on you. What is your health, Grilliam?
My current health is 22. Ooh.
So this Joker kind of flashes a bright kind of diamond at you, and it flares and glares right in your eyes, and you are currently blinded by this effect. As the diamond's light kind of almost knocks you back a little bit with how bright and intense it is, as he calls out diamonds. And the other one is going to run in. That's on fire. And is going to, because, well, he's next to you, so he has to do something against you. So he's going to stab you with his spade. Or, that was just the first one, a 15.
Neither of those hit.
15 misses as he stabs into you. It just kind of deflects off your armor harmlessly. This spade kind of handle on the crossguard of his rapier. And that's going to bring us next to Foxglove. What do you wish to do?
I'm gonna use Toll of the Dead on the one that's burning.
All right.
But it's gonna come out as a scream of the Grave Mother.
Okay.
The one on the right's a D12. Ah, dang it.
Yeah,
Wow.
As a natural 20. It actually was supposed to have a +2 to that, but natural 20 gonna do it regardless.
I can't do anything today.
Yes, they're rolling really well. And by them, I mean me, as always. Anything else on your turn, Foxglove?
No.
In that case, it's going to bring us to Grilliam once more. You are currently blinded by this effect.
Wait, is there any way to remove this blindness, or would that take some action?
That's a question to which I will answer, but it will be, you at least have it for the remainder of the turn.
I will have. So I have to have it for the remainder of the turn. So then, in that case, I'm going to just check something. Are they both within 5 feet of me? Within 5 feet of me?
Nope, you're just blinded for until the end of your next
Well,
turn. So it just ends at the end of this turn.
I'm asking how close they are to me because I want to use a spell.
They're within 5 feet.
Oh, in that case, you fools, you don't need to blind me. You're too close to me.
Constitution saving throw. They fail and take 1 point of radiant damage. All right, cool. Yeah, they take this 1 point of damage, and he just kind of goes. He's in the middle of burning, and he's like rubbing his head, and he just kind of looks up at you and kind of sarcastically just goes, "Ow!" But you don't see that he's looking at you sarcastically because you're blinded. Or actually, that's the first thing you see is at the end of your turn, you're no longer blinded.
My turn. Next.
It moves to top of the initiative. That's going to be Edinon. What do you wish to do?
Okay, Edon jumps off the table and swings again.
That one's definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll damage. 9 points of slashing damage. Your great sword cuts through. This one's starting to look pretty beat up as well. They're both pretty near the brink, and the illusory Joker dissipates. Anything else on your turn?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Little Boober.
Little Boober is going to target the one that just got hit. And he's going to use that. Wow, that sucked.
He saves again.
Wow.
Taking still 7 points of damage, which actually is enough to bring this guy down anyway, even with the successful save.
And
Wow.
he is going to hear, "Hey, Joker, it's time for the killing joke."
And you just hear him as he kind of falls. He goes, "I fold!" And he kind of just fizzles up. And you see his body just kind of seem to disintegrate. And all that's left is just a Joker playing card that kind of falls to the table and then also just kind of burns up. And that's going to bring us to the other Joker's turn, the only one left, who's looking around very scared now at the people that are kind of still sitting here, and is going to look towards you, Grilliam, who have done the most, and is just going to, he's just going to do a big giant, he's going to do a big giant magic missile at you, his most powerful magic missile. You take 19 points of force damage as he takes a club in each hand, and he just goes, 2 clubs! The magic missiles fly out and strike into you. He had to make a Constitution saving throw, which I forgot about, which he failed, and he took another round of burning damage if you want to roll that, Grilliam. Grilliam? We might have lost Max. Well, that's okay. You take 19 points of damage, and maybe he took some burning damage, but that's all for his turn. We're going to move on to Foxglove. The hour of your redemption is at hand. One foe remains. They are low in health.
I'm going to walk up to him and cast Inflict Wounds.
Alright, go ahead and make an attack roll, Jesus. Go ahead and roll damage. Would you care to describe Jesus, the final killing blow on this creature?
I reach up and I grab his face and pull him down until he dies. Then he's just gonna burst into like dust.
As you kind of like hold the hand on the face, you can hear him trying to make some quick underneath your hand, just but he is just drained of all life, and then he turns into a card which also at this point disintegrates as you have defeated these foes. And
okay, guys, don't worry, I got this. And the little Boober takes cards and makes sure to hide them.
I want to do something. I want to use Firbolg magic to turn into one of the Jokers.
All right,
Perfect.
you do that.
Wait. What happened to the cards? They all went back into a box?
No, the cards. The two Joker cards. When they appeared, when they got turned back into cards, they just kind of burned up. They just fizzled.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Cackler, follow my lead. And he and little Boober uses my illusion to give himself another hat.
Okay, you do so.
And he's like, okay, follow me.
Alright, we go.
I do the same.
Hops out. He hops out, he's like, hey, royalty! The Jokers have new orders!
And as you yell that out, you actually just see a bunch of royal cards that are just kind of strewn around the ground, and you no longer see the royals there.
Oh, well.
Foxglove's gonna start collecting them.
Yeah, it seems that when the Jokers were destroyed, they reverted back to their card-like state. Although when you kind of like pick up the cards, when you pick up the cards, little Booper, you see the King of Hearts card. The eye on the King of Hearts just seems to wink at you through the card.
Oh.
I take that card and I tear it in half because it's the demon.
There is a struggle over the cards of some kind, which you may resolve however you wish. But eventually you make your way back down to the dogs at the poker table, who look up at you, and they all just kind of like look up from their card game, and the big Saint Bernard goes, "Hey, that sounded like a real ruckus up there. You guys do all right? You get those cards out of our clubhouse?"
We gave them the proper eviction notice and we cleaned them up.
Oh, well, that's just great.
I think I deserve some dog treats for this.
Yeah, you've been a great human. Here, have some of these human treats. and tosses you a baggie full of delicious human treats. Enough human treats to grant you 1 experience point, and each of you 100 Bartholomew bucks, which means if you were level 1, you are now level 2, and with that, you guys have succeeded in this adventure, and I think that will conclude this. Before we leave, can I take the remaining cards that were not ripped and burnt up and just keep them in a box? I'll say that you each have a maximum of 13 of those cards from this event, as they are divided up evenly among you.